Lesson number 9. How do I actually create this electricity? Let's investigate. I have a bar magnet here. It has a north pole and a south pole to it. If we look at the north pole, we recognize the fact that the field lines come out of the north. So as I hold the magnet with the north pole on the top, the field lines go upward. As I hold the magnet, the field lines for the south pole go into the south pole from the bottom like so. Keep this in mind as we look at how to produce electricity. I will now take the north pole and then move it towards the coil. As I do this, notice that the number of field lines pointed in this direction starts to increase as I get closer. So right now we have one field line going through the coil. Now we have two field lines going through the coil. We have 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines as I approach and reach a maximum. Now if I pull the magnet away, the number of lines going through the coil starts to go down. So as I move away, now we have 3, 2, 1 field line going through, and they start to decrease. So as we move the magnet towards the coil or away from the coil, the amount of field lines starts to change. Now, the measurement that we're looking for is known as flux. Flux is the Greek letter phi, and flux is equal to the number of field lines, B, times the area that it goes through. If I were a sheep, I would say that flux equals Ba, B times A. All right, now, if we have a lot of flux, that means there's a lot of lines going through a certain area. If we have very little flux, it means that there are very few lines going through this area. Now, by moving the magnet, I can create electricity. Basically, what I'm doing is changing the flux. How? By changing the number of B lines going through that area. If I move it away, it's also changing because the number of lines is decreasing. So the flux is changing. If there's a change in flux, we will create electricity. So either by increasing, pushing forward, or by pulling back away from that, it generates electricity. Where is this electricity generated? It's generated in the coil, the wires that go around in the loop itself. So this is how power is produced in the United States, by moving magnets towards coils or away from the coils.